I used to say to them, I'm like, what's the point of going to church and hearing all these stories of faith and God doing miracles if we don't believe they can happen in our life? We could talk about Joseph, we could talk about David, we could talk about Jesus, we could talk about all these different people in the Bible, but we don't actually believe that those miracles can happen for us. And for me, I'm just crazy enough it can happen for me. Like, I believe that if I saw it in the world, it can happen for me too. My dad, he ended up apologizing. My grandma too. It was like, easy, I'm sorry, but it was like, yo, I didn't see how that was going to happen. But you kept telling us, this is what God showed me. This is what God showed me. And I didn't see how it's going to happen, but it happened for you. My family, like what they were advising me, it made logical, practical sense. It just didn't make God sense. It just didn't make the sense that God had given me time and time again. Welcome back to the Easy Talk Show. I'm your host, Easy Ward. This is the show you get nourishment for your needs, food for your soul, and of course, healing for your hearts. Thank you for all the love from episode 25. Start now, don't wait. That was a really powerful conversation between Dan and I about really, man, just not procrastinating and starting where you are, because you can get a lot further by starting now and then putting it all to the new year. So, as we are entering the new year, I hope you all are having a great holiday season. Happy holidays to everybody. Happy early new year. By the time you see this, we'll be getting ready to go into the new year. So hope you guys are having a great holiday season and spending time with your loved ones, recharging and getting ready for the new year 2025. It's about to be here. So I pray you all have a blessed holiday season, and, can't wait to see you in 2025. As always, please like, comment, or subscribe to Easy Ward TV. Please like, comment, or subscribe to Easy Ward TV if you are new. And also, in 2025, I want to stay connected with you. I want to be able to email you. So please click the Flow Desk link in my bio, and the link below in the YouTube description. We're going to have a lot of great things planned for you guys in 2025. So please click that link, and, I'll see you guys soon. So today is episode 26, and we're going to title it Faith Untitled or Untitled Faith. So we'll see what the title's going to be, but it's going to be one of those titles. And today's going to be a casual conversation, and I'm going to be sharing some real stories of things that I've had to overcome in faith and ways that I had to live out my faith. So I'm going to just start, because this has been a story that has been requested by people. So I'm going to share it. So I'm going to tell the story about me finding my home, that whole process, how it was nothing but faith that, brought me to this home, and also a practical side of that I do want to talk about, because I think it goes in hand to hand with having a vision, but also doing the work to prepare for the vision. And as we get into the new year, I think it's important to talk about preparing for a vision when God gives you one. A few weeks ago, we talked about, preparation for the promise, but it's now good to talk about preparing for the promise and the vision when God gives you one. It's one thing to be in preparation, when you're aiming for something, but it's one thing when God gives you a God-ordained vision. So for my home, so I'll give you guys some context and backstory, and then I'll bring you up to where I got the home and where I am today. So I graduated school in North Carolina A&T, shout out my Aggies, in 2017. I then came home and lived with my parents from 2017 until 2023. So in that time period, I went to grad school. I went to Georgetown University. I got a master's in strategic marketing. And during that time period, I was working at Macy's, just trying to really just make ends meet as I was going through grad school. So when I left Macy's, I got my first corporate job, and I won't say the company's name just because I'm still working there, still working there for the time being. And since 2019, since I graduated grad school, I wanted a home, right? I wanted to get a home in 2019, in 2020, 2021. just the market wasn't right, timing wasn't right, and in hindsight, I wasn't ready. Practically, like financially, I didn't think like to live, in the area that I live in. I had to have a nice bit of money saved up, and I had to do some things practically to prepare for the vision that I'm gonna talk about that God had given me. So when I did start getting ready to buy a house in like 2022 or 2021, I think 2021 or 2021, I did my first fast forward in December of 2021. And I just knew this time, because God was speaking to me about home, home, home. But it wasn't time yet. I ended up getting a new job in that time period. And then fast forward to 2022, throughout the year, God speaks to me in my dreams. That's one of the main ways that God communicates to me. And the way I know it's God is that when it comes, it's always a distinct vision that I can remember. And it's something that's either a warning of something to come, or it's describing a future event that's going to happen later on. So I had a dream. I had two dreams. Well, probably more than two dreams, but the two dreams that are distinct are this. I had a dream one day that I was in a neighborhood. I was in a particular neighborhood, and I was pointing to an in-unit townhome. And I was telling my two friends, I was like, look, that's my home right there. And it was an in-unit townhome, and the home was connected to other homes. That was the first dream, or one of the dreams. I forget the order, so please forgive me. Then the next dream I had received an email that there was a home ready to buy. And then I got the email, and then I went into the place. I went into like the new construction development, and it was a guy telling me to pick out my cabinets and stuff like that. But it happened sudden. So those are the two dreams. Now, at the time I bought my house, interest rates were going up, prices were going up. We just came out of the pandemic. So at one point during the pandemic, prices had went down, interest rates had went down. It was a good time to buy, but unfortunately, I wasn't ready to buy at that time. So when I would talk to my family about the new construction, everybody would tell me to be realistic, and they would say, "Hey, just my dad had a townhome that was not too far from where we lived at, and they were saying, hey, you should just start there and rent a home there." And literally, I would go there, look at the home, and the home was nice home. And it actually made a lot of sense for me to do that. So like, I don't want to think people saying, when I share the story, I'm saying it didn't make sense. It made perfect sense. They were saying, yo, start there, live there for like a year and a half, and then move somewhere else, and then move to the home you want. But God had given me a vision of a new townhome, and I knew in my heart I wanted a new townhome. And literally, I kept looking, and I almost gave in to go to that home. But something inside of me just wouldn't let me quite settle. It wouldn't let me quite settle because I just knew. I was like, man, I used to say to them, I'm like, what's the point of going to church and hearing all these stories of faith and God doing miracles? We don't believe them. We don't believe they can happen in our life. And I was like that because I feel like sometimes, a lot of times in church, we could talk about Joseph, we could talk about David, we could talk about Jesus, we could talk about all these different people in the Bible, but we don't actually believe that those miracles can happen for us. And for me, I'm just crazy enough. I don't know what it is about, but I'm just crazy enough to believe that like it can happen for me. Like I believe that if I saw it in the world, it can happen for me too. That's just how crazy my faith is. So long story short, 2023 comes. 2023 comes, and it comes time for me to start looking for a home. As I start looking for a home, I first come to the neighborhood that I'm in now, and I go to the condo part. And it was like some homes ready, and it was like, hey, we may have an offer fall through. We'll let you know. The offer ended up going through. A person got the home. Then I came back and I was like, hey, you want to build this condo out? It'll be ready in a few months. I told my dad, I was like, because my dad and I went, and I was like, nah, I'm just not feeling it. So then I came to the townhomes which I'm in now, and literally, I'm in the development, and I came like 2 or 3 times, looking at different homes, looking at the prices, and I finally get to the point where I'm like, you know what, I want to go ahead and make a move. So literally, I go there one day, and they lay out these different packages, and I could have a home built. This was April at the time. It was like, you got it built and it'd be ready by November. So then at the end of the conversation, it was like, you know what, but we got one more home that's like on the market. Somebody's funding didn't go through, but you gotta be ready to move quick. It was like, you want to see it? I'm like, yeah. So I go over to the home, and literally, y'all, the home is everything I want. It's an in unit. Everything in the home is like tailor-made and what I had prayed and asked God for. Even down to all the door handles in the home had the color that I wanted it to be. And the home had even things to it that I didn't even know my home could have. Like, I wanted black cabinets. I always loved matte black. I know they had matte black, but everything in here is like a matte sleek black. So then I had to go in there. They showed me the numbers. The home was cheaper than a home that I was getting ready to have built, but it had way more amenities than what I was about to have, and I was going to be paying more. So literally, God blew my mind with the process, and from that day, I probably closed like 3.5, 4 weeks later. But that story taught me so many different things. The first lesson I learned in that story is that, one, people around you won't see it, but and sometimes it's not that they don't necessarily see it. It's just that the vision that God has given you is for you, and that, one, they don't mean harm. Like, they don't mean any harm. They don't mean any malice or anything like that. Because my family, like, what they were advising me, it made logical, practical sense. It just didn't make God sense. It just didn't make the sense that God had given me time and time again. And so for me, like, I had to stand in that and listen. My dad, he ended up apologizing. My grandma too. It was like, easy, I'm sorry, but it was like, yo, I gotta apologize to you because I didn't see how that was gonna happen. But you kept telling us, this is what God showed me. This is what God showed me. And I didn't see how it was gonna happen, but it happened for you. It happened for you, but it was my faith that and that was hard because nobody else saw that happening the way it unfolded. Then the other lesson I learned is that God always exceeds your mind and blows your mind when a blessing comes. This home had stuff that I knew in my heart that I wanted that I hadn't even prayed for. So God will give you a blessing sometime for things that you want in your heart. You don't even know you want it all the way, and He'll bless you with it. He'll blow your mind. And so, like, when I'm living in this home now, this is a home of faith. It's a representation of faith. I'm standing in my faith. I'm sleeping in faith every night. And when I first got this home, I gave it right back to God. I'm from the deep South in my roots. I took some olive oil and I put oil on every door handle in the home. I prayed over my home. But I gave it back to him. But I learned so many lessons in this process. And the other thing I learned is that the opportunities are going to come, but you got to be ready. I had to have a substantial amount of money ready at a quick time period. Like, I won't share a number of, for personal reasons, but I had to share. I mean, I had to drop a substantial amount of money really quick, like within like 7 days apart. And that showed me that if I wasn't ready, if I hadn't been stewarding over my finances, if I hadn't been tithing, if I hadn't been saving my money, that opportunity would have came and it would have went. And listen, I've been doing this since 2019. So I had been home since I was like 21. I just moved out when I was 27. So that's 6 years, from 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Granted, I was in school some of those years, but, I mean, I had been home for a while, but in that time period, I wasn't just blowing my money away. I was saving, putting money in the right places, investing my money in the right things so that when the time came, I was ready to execute the way that, the way the opportunity presented itself. So I learned so much throughout this process, and I know I'm kind of talking a lot, but I'll stop and see, Dan, if you got anything you want to add.
That's good, bro. Could you relate this story to the past couple episodes that we've done over this month, as far as what was it? Start now, don't wait, and then preparation for the promise.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's almost like a culmination of them all. And as we enter the new year, I think it's a kind of great reminder for me to be encouraged as we get ready to go into 2025 and during this holiday season, kind of reflect on all that God has done and all that He's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that's good. This kind of reminds me, like, sometimes we're also put through these situations to spark the faith of other people.
Yeah,
that have their job. You talked about your grandma. You talked about your dad. We have friends sometimes, that people who are in our circles who don't see it, but God gave it to you for you to be the one to figure it out, and for you to follow Him. And in doing so, that could spark their faith journey or a revelation that they might have for them to do something and have that crazy faith. So, like, now, how many years have you been here now?
I moved in May 2023. So yeah, at the time of this recording is.
Can you talk about how living in your faith 2 years from remove, how has that been today? How is it still serving you now?
Bro, it's still serving me big time, because in times I get discouraged, I'm reminded of this, but also I'm gonna tell you what it does. It reignited the vision for my life. Once I got into this place, it helped me realize that everything that I've been dreaming and envisioning is real. Now, it may not happen on the timetable that I have set, but it is real. It does exist. It is feasible. So for me, it's helped reignite a new sense of visionary in my life, and really just help me have a new vision for my life in a way that, bro, I didn't necessarily, I'm not gonna say I didn't know it was possible, but I was shocked at how it played out exactly how I saw it in the dream.
I'm somebody who is listening to the show. If I were to say, well, that worked for you, how is that supposed to work for me? What could you tell them?
I would encourage you to ask God to speak to you in the way that you can receive it. And then I would tell you to ask God to open your heart in a way that you can receive his confirmation and insight and wisdom and things that He wants to share with you. Because I can't tell you that you're gonna have a dream because you're right, or I can't tell you that you're going to necessarily see it. Like, I saw it in a dream, so like I knew I wasn't tripping. Like, I literally saw it. But I would tell you to, like, really, 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 really seek God on learning the way He speaks to you, because ultimately the reason why I was so confident is that I knew his voice.
Mm.
So if somebody says, you know, this may not happen for me, the pushback I would give is, how do you believe God is speaking to you? How do you believe God speaks to you? Because if you know his voice, then you'll know his promises don't fail, even in times of worry and stress. So that's what I would say. I would say learn his voice. Because if you learn his voice, then like he will 100% come in and speak to you and make it abundantly clear on what it is his will, assignment, and vision is for your life.
That's good, bro.
Yeah.
That's good. Has since then has the way God communicates to you, has it changed?
No, it hasn't changed. If anything, it's heightened more. So like, I'll have dreams about things and they'll happen like actually way quicker now. Like I may have a dream about something and like it'll happen in the physical maybe like a few days later. So I would say if anything, it's heightened more. Like it's expanding. But a man had told me years ago, like I didn't start having these dreams until like I was in like 2017, 2018. But a man told me years ago, he was like, God's gonna speak to you, through your dreams. He told me that years ago, like 2017. And it happened in like 2018 during the first time I fasted. That was the first time I saw really God begin to speak to me in a mighty way and just show me different things. And ever since then, he was speaking to me in my dreams ever since. Like I've had a lot of dreams that I could share that would probably freak people out that I won't share. But
Right.
yeah. So yeah, bro. Like he speaks to me very vividly through dreams.
If you had to sum up your story or this story in like a sentence or one word, what would that be for like a theme?
Hold on. I know what I want to say. Hold on. Say that one more time.
If you had to summarize this story or the story that you just said, if you had to summarize that in a sentence or like a theme, what would that be?
It's from a Nipsey Hussle song, Dedication. How long should I say dedicated? How long to opportunity means preparation? And that's it. Because I had to say dedicated to my faith. I had to devote myself to my faith. But then I also practically had to do things to plan an event that, like, though right now I can't see it, interest rates are high, it doesn't make sense right now. I had to be stacking my money, like doing the things to make sure that I was prepared for when the opportunity came and presented itself. And once that happened, I was ready. Cool. Thank y'all once again. I hope you enjoyed this episode. This was a powerful episode, Untitled, Faith Untitled. I'll see you again. Love, easy.